Hello, this is teddygaming, and welcome back to another very interesting video, because in this one we're going to be doing a review on a few issues. So if you don't know, IDW has just come out with a brand new event called the IDW Endless Summer. Now with this event, they basically took 4 franchises and gave them each one-shot issues to do the summer and stuff like that, which I must admit I do find it to be pretty interesting, and I always do find the one-shot stories with any franchise to be really fun and so unique and just so great to really delve into certain characters or tell a really fun story. So with this event they did take 4 franchises, and the franchises which they did take was the Ninja Turtles, My Little Pony, the Dungeons & Dragons and Sonic the Hedgehog, which I must admit all do sound pretty interesting and really great, and there's only one there which I do have a really strong connection with, and that is the Turtles. I do know very little about My Little Pony and Sonic stuff. Dungeons & Dragons I hardly know anything about, so going into this event I wasn't really too sure what to really make of it or really expect, just because I don't have too much connection with any of these franchises except from Turtles, so I was more or less using this as a way to get into some of these franchises, and I don't think it really got me hooked onto any of these franchises except from Turtles, but that's only because I was into Turtles, so it's a little bit unfair I would say. Okay, so the Ninja Turtle story is an interesting one. So with this one, we do get to see the Turtles, they're going out fighting the Foot Clan, and that's when the Turtles notice that Mikey's a little bit down, he doesn't even want to eat pizza. So the Turtles decide to take him to a theme park and have a fun day there, and they do a few rides, but then they notice that Trag is there, and then that's when they come in contact with Krang, and he wants to bring in the Technodrome from Dimension X and rule the world and stuff like that, and the Turtles save the day and stuff like that. Now I do feel as though that for a story for this universe with this version of Turtles, I do think that this story works really well for this version of Turtles, and I think it could only been done with this version of Turtles. I don't think any other version of Turtles you could possibly do an endless summer story, but I think that this version really did work really well. Now the artwork for this one I do find to be, for the most part, really great. I do feel like it did really, I want to say really replicate the art style from the original cartoon quite well. But I do feel as though that near the end of the issue, specifically when we do get to see the Turtles fighting Trag and Krang, I do feel as though that the artwork is not really up to standards, I want to say, and that's not really saying that the artwork was bad, but because of one thing. And the reason for it is just because I do feel too that the whole fight scene is really cut short and just really fast, and I think that might just be down to the fact that you just see the Turtles punching Trag, and in the next scene we get to see the Turtles beat Trag, and this feels too there's a lot of scenes missing, which I do feel is like a pretty big downside to this issue. Now another thing which I do want to point out is the colours for this one. I really do enjoy the colours for this issue. I don't know why, but I think it's just the shading for this one in certain scenes was really emulating some really old books which I used to read as a kid, and it works so well. I really did enjoy it. It's so great. Yeah, I can't really complain too much about that. And then one last thing which I don't want to really hammer in the point of how fun this issue was. We do get to see Krang wearing a cowboy hat, and yeah, that's all we've got to say about this issue. It's just it's interesting for a variety of different reasons, and this is possibly one of the best parts about this issue. But yeah, I must admit, overall, this whole issue was pretty great and just so fun with what they're trying to do. But I do feel as though that the action was cut very short, but other than that, it was just a really great issue. So then for the My Little Pony one, it's another interesting one. So with the summon and stuff like that, you are sort of really expecting, really happy times, fun, stuns, smiling, stuff like that. But this whole issue really take it in a completely different direction and really make it feel like a really sad, depressing issue. And the main reason for this is just because this main character, an orange pony or something like that, she basically, I think it's her dad that's died, or it's very heavily implied that he's dead or something like that. And basically she misses this summer because of all the good times she had with him, and the summer's ending. And then her friends decide to come up with great ways to show off all the other great things about all the other seasons, and just doing some really fun, interesting bits, just to show off all different seasons, such as Halloween stuff and snowballs and stuff like that. And I do feel as though that this whole issue was pretty great for showing off all the other stuff in the other seasons, which I do feel as though it was a really weird thing, considering that this whole issue is supposed to be about summer, but yet we're talking about all the other seasons instead, which, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but when they're like showing off all the other seasons, I won't lie, there are still some stuff which I do like about the other seasons, so I can't complain too much about that. But yeah, I must admit, overall, this issue has been pretty interesting, and I just think that it's just so weird with what they're trying to do in this one, with how somewhat depressing it was with the dad dying and showing off all the other seasons instead. I do feel so like that was a little bit weird, but it was so great in other places, and I also do feel so that the story was also something which I do feel as though they could have improved upon, just because I do feel so that with the dad dying and stuff like that, they could heavily lead into the emotional side of things, but yet they don't. And then also, because one of the ponies wants to help her out and was a childhood friend, I do feel as though that character could have played a bigger part in the story and helped out a bit more and make it a bit more emotional on their end. So I do feel as though like there's little problems here and there, but they could have improved it with like bits here and there, but to make it a bit more sadder. But at the same time, it's supposed to be a summer story, so I don't know what they're really going for. Now, the colours for this issue were pretty great, done by Heather Beckel. I do have a little bit of history just because I have seen her done some colouring work for Niche Toll book, so I can't complain there, and I do really feel as though that she does definitely, you know, replicate the like cartoon style shadowing, and I do think that's really great. And then also with the artwork, it was great for the most part. I think that the only problem with the artist for this one is the face and the expressions. But other than that, it was a decent issue enough. Okay, then moving on to the next one, which is Dungeons & Dragons. And with this one, I have no connections to whatsoever, so I've got a feeling that this review is going to go by really quickly. Okay, so with this story, we do get to see the Dungeons & Dragons kids. They come out of a cave and all go to a beach to have some R&R. So the Dungeon Master allows them to go off and tells them about a lake nearby. So the kids go off, and then that's when they go into a cave, and there's this dragon fighting off another monster. The kids save the dragon, and then the dragon thinks they're all evil, and another dragon comes, and the dragon which I say defeated the other dragon. Yeah, it's a little bit confusing, but other than that, the kids go away, and then they go off to a snow place, and that's pretty much it for the story. I don't know what to really say about this one, just because I don't have any connection towards these characters whatsoever, and not to mention, it feels though that it's a really fast story without actually doing really much in this one. It just feels though that this one was just there because they could do like a story, and didn't really feel as though that this story really worked too well with the Dungeons & Dragons stuff. But again, I don't know too much about Dungeons & Dragons, so I could be wrong here by saying that this is a really bad story, but it was just okay. Artwork was there, yeah, right, and the colours, yeah, they're alright, but other than that, it was just an okay issue, one which I don't really feel as though really worked too well for the summer event or something like that, but it was there, I guess. Oh, god. And then one last thing which I would like to say about the Dungeons & Dragons stuff is the fact that in this one in particular, the only issue out of all four of these event issues, they do say at the end of it that we'll see you next summer, so I don't know if there's going to be like a continuing thing where basically every summer going forward we're going to have like a new like 4-issue storyline, stuff like that, which I wouldn't be against, but I just feel a bit weird that this is the only issue that does say that. But I don't know if maybe they're referring to something that's going to be happening in the Dungeons & Dragons comics next year, so I don't know too much about it, but it is there, I want to say. But yeah, I don't really know what to really say about it, but yeah, it's there. Okay, and then for the final one, we do have Sonic, and this one is, again, like an okay one, I want to say. So with this one, we do get to see Sonic. He's going around the place, I don't know if it's an island or what, he's going around collecting parts, and he's just seeing everyone, and they're all busy doing their stuff. So that's when he comes up with a plan to basically get everyone down to the beach and have some fun. But unfortunately, we do get to see these crow bird people, who I'm guessing in this universe, they're evil, something like that. And basically the two teams don't get along and don't want to like share the beach with each other. So that's when basically they come up with an idea to compete about it. And throughout this whole issue, that's basically the main story. They do like a few different, different challenges and stuff like that. Now this story, I don't have too much really complain about it, just because it's there and it's just doing a really fun, simple story, just like, you know, having the characters at the beach, just doing some fun stuff, which I can't complain all too much for them trying to do this story. I do think it works really well, but I do wish that I did have more connection with these characters and know more about them. But other than that, I do feel as though that was a pretty decent story for the most part. And at the end of the story, the two teams just more or less bond and just say, oh yeah, we'll just share the beach, which I don't know why they didn't do it in the first place. And this one, again, I do feel as though that the artwork was on point, the colours were on point. I don't really have anything really bad to say about this issue, but it was there, I want to say. I just wish I had more connection with these characters, just so that I can be like, oh wow, this is a really great story. So yeah, I must admit, overall, this whole event thing has been pretty fun for the most part. I do feel as though there was one big missing opportunity with this one, just because on the cover B, they did have a connecting cover thing, which I do think worked really well, and it's just really great to see all the different characters all in one cover, and I thought that was really great. But with that being said, I do feel as though like there was a big missing opportunity for basically these characters to actually interact. And I don't necessarily think they should have interacted throughout the whole story, but I do feel as though like there's a missing opportunity here to have like a backup story where we do get to see the characters interacting, which I do think could have been really fun. But I do think that overall, the stories which I was going for, I do think that was pretty good and really fun for the most part. I am surprised with how somewhat depressing some of these stories are, especially like the My Little Pony one. I was very surprised by it all, how, you know, just because some of you were like really thinking happy fun times and not, oh no, oh no, summer ending, oh, life is going to be so bad. It's not really something we should expect, but it's there for like I think it's like 3 out of 4 comics, so it's there, but it just feels so weird that it's happening in a summer comic, but it's there for the most part. But yeah, I must admit, overall, I do feel as though that this whole event thing has been pretty fun, and I would like to see them do a lot more of this stuff again, like either do like Halloween specials, Christmas specials, or even do more like summer specials. I do think that this was a really great thing, and I really did enjoy the like one-shot nature of everything, where it's basically I would do like a one-shot story, just like have all the characters in a really fun location story, and I thought that worked really well, and I would like to see a lot more of it, just because I do feel though that like some of these stories, when doing it like this, they can like show off the like really great nature of being able to tell stories in this format. So I'd like to see a lot more of this, but I do feel as though that if I do something like this again, I would like to see them do like a backup story where basically the characters are interacting. But other than that, I do feel as though that this was a pretty decent event, and yeah, that's all we got to say about it. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today, guys. If there's some, please share. Let's just grab no stuff. Goodbye, yo, bye.